Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and continue talking about the fundamental theorem of calculus. But before we start the example down here, just a quick note. This is kind of hard to argue against. It's 100% true. But what I've written is just a statement, and I want you to kind of think about it, and we're going to apply this statement to the problem that we have here at hand. So what I wrote, or what I've written here is, what you have at any given moment is a function of what you started with plus what you've accumulated since then. You can also think about this as where you are at any given time is a function of where you started plus where you've gone from your starting point. So you can think about this in many different ways, but I've written it this way. So again, I'm sorry, what we have at any given moment, again, is a function of what we started with plus what you've accumulated since then. So now if we look at our problem here, I'm given this graph of y equals f prime of x. So this is the derivative, this is the graph of the derivative. And I'm told that f of 0 is equal to 5. All right, so I'm given this information. So it looks like this is where I'm starting at. So I know where I started. I'm starting at 0, and I know that when x is equal to 0, our y value is 5. I'm just going to make a little note here that this right here, this guy right here, this is my starting point. I can think about it like that. And this right here, I want to find what f of 1 is. F of 1, we can think about f of 1 is where we're going to end up, or what we have. So this is, I'm going to write here what we, well, I should put what we will have because we haven't figured it out yet, right? What we will have. And if we go back to our statement and kind of try and maybe write some type of equation to figure how to solve this, well, what we will have, or what we have at any moment, so that's going to be f of 1, is going to be equal to, because it is a function. It is a function of what we started with. So what we started with, well, what do we start with? Well, they gave us an initial condition of f of 0 equals 5. So it is going to be our starting. So it is equal to f of 0 plus what we've accumulated since then. Now, what do we accumulate? Well, if we look at our function and we're looking at 0, we know that f of 0 is already 5, but what do we accumulate from 0 to 1? Well, we accumulate all this area. Well, the area under a curve can be represented by the integral of our function f prime of x dx. Now notice that we are going from 0 to 1. So this right here is the accumulation. Remember, the integral is an accumulation function. So this is going to accumulate all the area underneath this curve right here. Well, the cool thing about this curve, or this function here, is that it's a triangle. And the area of a triangle is pretty easy to find. We can just use basic elementary math here to figure out what this area is. It's just base times the height divided by 2. So it looks like our area here is the base is 1. So 1 times the height. The height is 6. So 1 times 6 divided by 2 gives us an area of 3. So again, this whole thing, we've accumulated an area of 3. So we can think about this problem as, again, this is what we have, or what we will have, and then again, this is our starting point, but our starting point, f of 0, is just equal to 5. And then again, what do we accumulate? Well, we accumulated area of 3, so we have plus 3. Well, what is 5 plus 3? Well, 5 plus 3 is just equal to 8. So f of 1 here is equal to 8. But again, I want you to go back and I want you to think. I want you to really read this statement and really try and make sense of it, and then try and apply it to problems such as these, where they give you an initial condition and then they want you to find, a certain value. But this value, again, this value right here that they want you to find is what you will have. So that's what you will have after a certain time. If you think about this as a time, as a t, if this axis represents time and this is your t-axis, well, again, it'll be what you started with plus what you're going to accumulate since then, or since your starting position.